The text came while I was restringing a weed whacker for a stranger who smelled like motor oil and disappointment. My phone buzzed against the counter at Ashfield Hardware, and I saw Maddie's name light up the screen. My younger daughter. 19 years old and already an expert at dropping grenades into quiet moments. Dad, I need to talk to you about the wedding. Hey, sweetheart, I said, keeping my voice level. Dad, don't be mad. That's how she started. That's how I knew it would be bad. I'm listening. I want Evan to walk me down the aisle. The words hit like a wrench to the sternum. Evan, my ex-wife Lena's boyfriend. The contractor with the shiny truck and the expired permits. The man who had been sleeping with my wife for 6 months before I found the hotel receipts. Maddie, we talked about this. I know, but Mom thinks it would be better for everyone. Less tension, and Evan's been really supportive during the planning. Supportive. I let the word hang there. He's been supportive. Dad, please don't make this harder than it has to be. I'm your father, Maddie, not guest actor number 3 in some play your mother's directing. That's not fair? Fair? I laughed, and it came out sharp. You want to talk about fair? Your mother cheated on me, destroyed our marriage, and now you want her affair partner to walk you down the aisle at your wedding, at my daughter's wedding, and I'm supposed to smile and clap? You're being selfish, she said, and her voice went cold. This is my day, not yours. Then don't make me of the set design. She hung up. I stood there in the back room, staring at a wall calendar from 2023 that no one had bothered to take down. A dog in a Santa hat smiled at me from February. That night, I got the follow-up text. The real knife. Mom says if you can't be civil, maybe you shouldn't come at all. I opened my laptop and found the wedding planning folder Maddie had shared with me months ago, back when I was still invited to be a real part of her life. I scrolled through the vendor contracts, the guest list, the timeline. There it was in the ceremony schedule. Escort, father figure. Evan Hodge, father figure. I copied the link to the folder, saved it, and for the first time in 6 months, I felt something other than sadness. I felt clarity. Before we continue, hit the hype button, subscribe, and like the video to help the channel grow. Tell us which city you are from in the comments. We'd love to get to know our audience better. I spent the next 3 days doing what I do best, taking inventory. I'm a hardware man. I know how things fit together, how they break, and how to fix them. I know locks and hinges and load-bearing walls. I know what holds and what gives. So I made a list. Lena worked at Ashfield Regional Hospital in admin. Her shifts were posted on the family calendar she still shared with Kayla, our older daughter. Monday through Thursday, 8 to 5. Fridays off. She had a coworker named Diane who ran the hospital's unofficial gossip network and posted about workplace drama on the Ashfield Neighbors Facebook group. Evan ran a contracting business out of his house. His truck, a black Ford F-250 with custom rims, was always parked in Lena's driveway now. I checked the town permitting office website. His general contractor license had expired 4 months ago. He was still taking jobs. Maddie lived on campus 2 hours away, but came home most weekends. She posted everything on Instagram, everything. I knew when she got coffee, when she studied, when she visited Lena. She had 847 followers. 32 of them were my neighbors. Kayla was quieter. She worked at a coffee shop downtown and lived in a studio above the old theater. She hadn't picked sides yet, but I could feel her pulling away. She was careful with me now, like I was made of glass. Then there was Tom Berkshire, my best friend since high school. He ran night security at the old Ashfield Textile Mill, the one that had been shut down for a decade. He was solid. I called him on Thursday night. You busy? I asked. Just starting my shift. What's up? Need to talk, in person. Mill office. 20 minutes. I drove through town, past the shuttered boardwalk where the bait shop still clung to life, past the church where Maddie would get married in 6 weeks, past Lena's house where Evan's truck sat in the driveway like a middle finger. Tom met me at the mill's front gate. He was a big guy, 6'3", with a gray beard and hands like catcher's mitts. He unlocked the gate and led me into the old office building where space heaters fought a losing battle against the November cold. You look like hell, he said. Maddie wants Evan to walk her down the aisle. Tom stopped moving. Jesus, Nate. I need to know what I'm working with. Schedules, access points, weaknesses. Weaknesses? I'm not going to hurt anyone, Tom. But I'm not going to sit there and smile while they rewrite my life either. Tom sat down heavily in a folding chair. What are you planning? I don't know yet, but I need your help. He looked at me for a long time. Then he pulled out his phone and opened his notes app. Evan comes to the mill sometimes, Tom said slowly. Uses the loading docks to store materials, pays me $50 a month under the table. I'm not supposed to allow it, but He shrugged. When's he here next? Saturday afternoon, dropping off drywall. I want to see the building, all of it. Tom hesitated, then nodded. Okay. But Nate, don't do anything stupid. Stupid's already been done, I said. I'm just cleaning up. That night, I found Kayla's private group chat export on my kitchen table. She'd left it there on purpose. Printed pages, dozens of them, from a group chat called The Real Tea. I read through them with a cup of cold coffee. Lena's voice came through clear. Maddie needs to stand firm. Nate will cave. He always does. He's too scared of losing her. Evan's been amazing. Way more involved than Nate ever was. I told Maddie not to worry. Her father will come around or he won't. Either way, we're moving forward. I set the pages down. She was wrong about one thing. I wouldn't cave. The boardwalk in Ashfield runs half a mile along the harbor, all warped planks and peeling paint. In the summer, it's full of tourists buying taffy and taking selfies. In November, it's just locals and seagulls and the smell of low tide. Ray's Bait and Tackle sits at the north end. Ray's been there 40 years. He knows everyone, remembers everything, and runs a tight ship. He also runs a tab system for regulars. I knew Evan had a tab. Tom had mentioned it once, months ago, back when Evan was just Lena's new friend. $260 in unpaid bait and tackle, racked up over the summer. I walked into Ray's shop on Saturday morning. Ray was behind the counter, sorting lures. Nate, he said, nodding. Need something? Just browsing. I wandered the aisles, looking at rods and reels and nets, and let Ray's wife Janet do what she does best, talk. You hear about that contractor? Janet said to Ray, loud enough for me to hear. The one dating Lena Parker? Hasn't paid his tab in 4 months. Evan? Ray grunted. Yeah, keeps promising. Never delivers. You should cut him off. I should. Ray looked up at me. You know him, Nate? Unfortunately. He good for it? I shrugged. He drives a $60,000 truck. You tell me. Ray's jaw tightened. That right? I bought a pack of hooks and left. An hour later, I was parked across the street from Ray's when Evan's truck rolled up. He got out, walking with that loose-hipped swagger he had, and headed into the shop. 3 minutes later, Ray's voice carried out onto the boardwalk. $260, Evan. You think I run a charity? I couldn't hear Evan's response, but I saw people stop and look. I don't care about your cash flow. Pay your bills. Evan came out fast, his face red. He saw me sitting in my car, and his eyes went wide, then narrow. He got in his truck and pulled out, tires squealing on the damp planks. I started my engine and followed. The boardwalk has a speed limit of 15 miles per hour. Evan was doing 30. I stayed behind him, close but not touching, and when he swerved around a stack of crab traps, I swerved too. He hit the brakes. I hit mine. His truck fishtailed on the slick wood, and for a second I thought he'd go into the water. But he caught it, overcorrected, and slammed sideways into a row of bait coolers stacked outside Ray's. Ice and frozen squid exploded across the boardwalk. People came running. Someone pulled out a phone and started filming. Evan got out of his truck, shaking, and pointed at me. That maniac ran me off the road. I rolled down my window. I was behind you the whole time, Evan. You should slow down. Speed limit's 15. Ray came out, saw the mess, and his face went purple. You're paying for this, Hodge. I drove away slowly, legally, and checked my rearview mirror. Evan was standing in a pile of fish guts, yelling at no one. By that night, Janet had posted about it on Ashfield Neighbors. Some men think rules don't apply if they smile. Pay your debts and drive safe, folks. The comments piled up. 63 of them by midnight. Then Maddie texted me. Evan says you're dangerous. Dad, please stop. I don't want this. I texted back. I'm not stopping. She didn't reply. Tom gave me the full tour on Sunday night, after his shift started and the last of the daylight bled out over the harbor. The Ashfield Textile Mill was a cathedral of rust and broken glass, 4 stories of crumbling brick, with catwalks that ran between buildings and loading docks that opened onto the canal. The kind of place where kids came to drink and dare each other to climb higher. Tom led me through the main building with a flashlight. Emergency exits here and here, he said, pointing. Loading dock 3 has a busted lock. I keep meaning to fix it. Don't. He looked at me. Nate. I mean it. Leave it busted. We climbed a steel staircase to the second-floor catwalk. It ran 50 feet between buildings, open to the air, with a rusted railing and a view of the canal below. The wind whistled through the gaps in the metal. This is where the kids come, Tom said. Teenagers, urban explorers. I chase them off when I find them. How often does Evan come here? Maybe once a month. He uses Dock 3 to store materials. Drywall, mostly. Says his garage is full. And you let him? $50 is $50, Nate. I don't make much. I walked to the edge of the catwalk and looked down. 40 feet to a concrete pad littered with pallets and old tarps. You ever fall from up here, you're done, Tom said. Good to know? We went back down to the office, and Tom poured us coffee from a thermos that smelled like it had been brewed during the Reagan administration. Nate, he said, sitting down, I need to tell you something. I waited. Lena and we talked a lot. Back when you two were still married. Talked. Late nights, text messages, nothing physical, but it was close, emotional stuff. I cut it off before it went anywhere, but the coffee turned to acid in my stomach. When? I asked. 3 years ago, maybe 4, right after you and Lena had that fight about selling the house. You knew she was unhappy. Yeah, and you didn't tell me. I didn't know how. Tom looked at his hands. I felt like shit about it. Still do. I stood up. Does Lena know you're telling me this? No. Good. Don't tell her. Why? Because I'm going to use it. Tom's face went pale. Nate, don't drag me into this. You're already in it, I said. The question is whether you're with me or with her. I'm with you. I always have been. Then trust me. I left him there, sitting in the cold office with his bad coffee and his guilt. On the drive home, my phone buzzed, a voicemail from Lena. I played it. Nate, I know what you did at the boardwalk. You're embarrassing yourself and scaring Maddie. If you don't stop, I'll file a restraining order. I'm serious. Grow up. I saved the voicemail. Then I called Tom. I need you to get Lena to the mill, I said. What? Why? Tell her you need to talk. About old times. Make it sound urgent. Nate, I can't. You owe me, Tom. Silence. Okay, he said finally. Okay. 2 days later, Tom called. She's coming tonight, 8 o'clock. I'll be there. Ashfield has a homeowners association that makes the Stasi look relaxed. They're led by a woman named Patricia Cobb, who has never met a rule she didn't want to enforce or a neighbor she didn't want to fine. Patricia and I go way back. She bought a pergola kit from me 5 years ago and still complains that I sold her the wrong wood stain. On Monday morning, I walked into her office at the community center. Patricia, I said, got a minute? Nate. She looked at me over her reading glasses. What do you want? Just thought you should know something. Evan Hodge, he's the contractor dating my ex-wife. His general contractor license expired. He's still taking jobs. Thought the HOA might want to check if any homeowners are using him. Patricia's eyes gleamed. Is that so? Just being a good neighbor. I'll look into it. I'm sure you will. I left and drove to Evan's current job site, a house 3 blocks from Lena's place. His truck was parked out front, covered in drywall dust. I walked up to the truck, looked around to make sure no one was watching, and slipped a plastic bag under the rear seat through the cracked window. Inside the bag, 2 pounds of bait shrimp, the kind Ray sells for bottom fishing. They'd start to smell in about 48 hours. By Wednesday, Patricia had sent an email blast to the entire HOA. Safety first. It has come to our attention that some contractors working in Ashfield may not have current licenses. Please verify credentials before hiring. Unpermitted work hurts property values and puts us all at risk. The next door thread exploded. People named names. Evans came up 4 times. On Thursday, Evan posted a selfie from the wedding venue parking lot. He was standing next to Maddie, his arm around her shoulders, both of them smiling. The caption, "Real fathers show up." I stared at that photo for a long time. Then I made a plan. The nor'easter hit on Friday night, the kind of storm that knocks out power and turns roads into rivers. The local radio station issued warnings every 20 minutes. Stay inside, avoid travel, expect flooding. I sent a text from a burner phone I'd picked up at a gas station 3 towns over. The message went to Evan. Tom's talking to the permitting office. Thought you should know. I watched my regular phone. 30 minutes later, Tom called. Evan just texted me. He's pissed. Says he's coming to the mill to sort this out. I didn't tell him anything, Nate, I swear. I know. Let him come. What are you doing? Meeting him. Nate, don't. I hung up and drove to the mill. The wind howled through the empty buildings, rattling the corrugated metal and sending trash skittering across the loading docks. Rain came in sideways, cold and mean. I climbed to the catwalk and waited. Evan's truck pulled up 20 minutes later. He got out, looked around, and headed into the main building. I could hear him shouting Tom's name, his voice echoing off the concrete. Tom, where are you? I clicked on my flashlight and leaned over the catwalk railing. Up here, Evan. He spun around, saw me, and his face twisted. What the hell are you doing here? Waiting for you. Where's Tom? Not here. Just us. Evan started climbing the stairs, taking them 2 at a time. I backed up, giving myself room. He reached the catwalk and stopped, breathing hard. The wind whipped his hair around his face. You set me up, he said. You set yourself up. I just gave you a push. You're pathetic, Nate. You know that? Maddie's embarrassed by you. Lena can't stand you. You're a joke. And yet here you are, chasing me onto a catwalk in the middle of a storm. He took a step forward. I took a step back. What are you going to do, Evan? Hit me? Go ahead. Make it easy. He lunged. I sidestepped, and his momentum carried him into the railing. It groaned under his weight, and for a second I thought it would give. It didn't. He spun around, wild-eyed, and came at me again. I dropped my flashlight and grabbed his jacket, using his own weight to swing him around and slam him against the railing. Stop, I said. He shoved me. I shoved back, harder, and he stumbled. His foot caught on a loose bolt, and he went down hard on his hands and knees. Stay down, I said. He tried to get up. I put my boot on his back and pressed. I said, stay down. The rain hammered us both. He was gasping, his hands scrabbling on the wet metal. This is your only rescue, I told him. Next time I don't pull. I let him up and stepped back. He staggered to the stairs, holding the railing like it was the only thing keeping him upright, and disappeared into the darkness. I picked up my flashlight and watched his truck peel out of the lot, tires spraying water. Then I called Tom. It's done. Lena's social media presence was a carefully curated highlight reel. Motivational quotes, hospital charity events, selfies with coworkers. She had 612 Facebook friends and a reputation as one of the good ones. I spent Saturday morning going through her posts. There was one from August. Lena in scrubs, holding a coffee, grinning at the camera. In the background, slightly out of focus, was a computer monitor with a patient chart visible. Just visible enough. HIPAA violation? Maybe. Definitely bad optics. There was another from September. A group photo at a hospital fundraiser. Lena had her arm around a man I recognized as the husband of a patient. The caption? So grateful for our community partners. The comments section had 3 people calling her inspirational. I downloaded the photos and opened a blank email. To Ashfield Regional HR Department from Concerned employee subject, social media policy concerns. I attached the screenshots and wrote 3 paragraphs. No lies, no exaggerations, just facts. Unprofessional posts, possible HIPAA concerns, favoritism and scheduling based on coworker complaints I'd heard through Diane's gossip network. I hit send and closed my laptop. Monday morning, Lena called me. I let it go to voicemail. Nate, I know you sent that email to HR. I don't know what you think you're going to accomplish, but it's not going to work. You're just making yourself look petty. She was wrong. Tuesday afternoon, I was at the hardware store when Diane walked in. She didn't see me at first. She was on her phone, talking loud enough for the whole store to hear. I'm telling you, HR is going through everything. Lena's freaking out. They pulled her off the schedule pending review. I stayed behind the paint display and listened. She says it's all a misunderstanding, but I've seen those posts. Girl was sloppy. Wednesday night, Lena showed up at my apartment. I opened the door and she pushed past me, her face blotchy and red. You bastard, she said. Nice to see you too. HR is investigating me because of you. Do you have any idea what this could do to my career? I sent them facts, Lena, that's all. If you have a problem, maybe don't post patient information on Facebook. It wasn't patient information? Then you have nothing to worry about. She stepped closer, her voice dropping to a hiss. You're trying to destroy me because you can't handle the fact that I moved on. I don't care that you moved on, I said quietly. I care that you tried to erase me from my daughter's life and replace me with the guy you cheated with. Evan is a good man. Evan is a con artist with an expired license and a truck he can't afford. You're pathetic. And yet you're here, in my apartment, yelling at me. Who's pathetic, Lena? She opened her mouth, closed it, and walked out. I locked the door and checked my email. HR had replied, Thank you for bringing this to our attention. We are looking into the matter and will take appropriate action. Good enough. The wedding rehearsal was scheduled for Friday at 6. The venue was a restored barn 20 minutes outside Ashfield. All string lights and reclaimed wood, and a courtyard with a fountain that didn't work. I wasn't invited. I went anyway. I parked on the public road outside the property line and walked to the fence. Through the trees, I could see people moving around inside the barn. Maddie's friends, Lena, Evan standing near the altar like he owned the place. I waited until it got dark, then I sent a text to the venue coordinator from another burner phone. Suspicious activity near the south fence. Possible trespasser. 5 minutes later, floodlights kicked on, illuminating the courtyard and the parking lot. People came outside, looking around. Evan and 2 of his buddies walked toward the fence, flashlights bobbing. I stepped out from behind a tree on the public side of the fence. "Evening, gentlemen." Evan stopped. "Nate?" "Just taking a walk. Public road, public land. You're not supposed to be here." And yet here I am. One of Evan's buddies, a thick-necked guy named Kurt, stepped forward. "You need to leave." "Or what?" Kurt reached for me. I sidestepped and let him stumble into the fence. Evan came through the gate, his jaw tight. "You think this is funny?" "I think it's pathetic. You're playing dress-up in my life, Evan. Wearing my role like a cheap suit." "I'm the one who's been there for Maddie, not you. Because you want to look like a hero. But we both know what you are." He swung at me. I ducked, stepped in, and slapped him hard across the face. The sound echoed. Kurt lunged. I shoved him back into Evan, and they both went down in a heap. Maddie came running from the barn. "Dad, stop!" "I'm done, sweetheart. Just wanted to see the venue." Evan got up, his face red, and headed for his truck. I'd been busy earlier. While he was inside, I'd pulled the cabin air filter and soaked it with fish oil, the same stuff I'd used before. Then I replaced it. He got in and started the engine. The blower kicked on. 3 seconds later, he threw the door open and vomited onto the gravel. People came running. Someone was filming on their phone. Maddie stared at me, shaking. "Why are you doing this?" "Because you chose him over me, and I'm showing you exactly who he is. He's been more of a father to me than you ever were." The words hit like buckshot. "Then marry him," I said. "But don't ask me to watch." I walked back to my car and drove away. Behind me, Evan was still gagging in the parking lot, and the internet was already lighting up with videos. Ashfield's annual town fair happens the first week of December, a last gasp of community spirit before winter shuts everything down. There are vendors, a raffle, a dunk tank, and a generator the size of a small car that powers the whole thing. Evan had a booth. He was raffling off a free kitchen remodel to give back to the community. Patricia from the HOA had made sure everyone knew his license was expired, but he was still smiling, still shaking hands, still pretending everything was fine. I walked through the fairgrounds Saturday afternoon, hands in my pockets, watching. The generator operator was a guy named Phil, 60-something, who'd been running the fair since I was a kid. I found him near the generator, checking gauges. "Phil," I said, "that generator sounds rough." "Yeah, she's running hot. Probably needs a break." "You see the temp gauge? Looks like it's in the red." He squinted at it. "Damn, you're right. Might want to shut it down before it blows." The fairgrounds went dark. People started yelling. Someone laughed. A kid started crying. I walked toward Evan's booth, where he was fumbling with his phone flashlight. "Power's out," I said. He spun around. "Nate, what are you doing here?" "Supporting local business. Stay away from me." "Or what, Evan? You going to hit me? In front of all these people?" He stepped forward, and I let him. His fist came up, and I caught his wrist and twisted. He yelped and stumbled backward into the dunk tank ladder, his feet slipping on the wet metal. He went down hard, face first into the dirt. The lights came back on. Evan was on the ground, mud on his face, his booth in chaos behind him. People were staring. Someone laughed. He got up shaking and headed for his truck. He turned the key. The engine clicked but didn't turn over. He tried again. Nothing. People started recording. 2 cops walked by, hands on their belts, looking bored. "Everything okay here?" "Fine," Evan said, his voice tight. "Just truck trouble." They nodded and kept walking. I walked away, blending into the crowd. By Sunday morning, the videos were everywhere. Ashfield's eyes had shifted. Tom called me Monday night. "Lena knows," he said. "About us. The texts. She's threatening to tell Maddie. Let her. Nate. Tom, it's time. Tell Maddie yourself. Control the narrative." He was quiet for a long time. Then, "Okay." Tuesday afternoon, Tom sat down with Maddie at the coffee shop where Kayla worked. I wasn't there, but Kayla told me about it later. Tom confessed everything, the late-night texts with Lena, the emotional affair that never went physical, the guilt that had been eating him for years. Maddie listened, pale and silent. "I'm not making excuses," Tom said. "I just wanted you to hear it from me. Your dad knows. He's known for a while. and he hasn't used it against me because he's a better man than I gave him credit for. Maddie didn't respond. That night, I got a text from her. I need to think. Wednesday morning, Lena's HR reassignment became official. She was moved to overnight shifts, a de facto demotion. Diane posted about it on Facebook. When you prioritize selfies over patients, karma comes knocking. The comments were brutal. Thursday night, Evan showed up at the mill. I was there with Tom, expecting him. You ruined my life, Evan said. You ruined your own life. I just made sure people noticed. He swung at Tom. I stepped between them and shoved Evan hard into a stack of pallets. He went down, wood clattering around him. This is done, Evan. Walk away. He got up slowly, breathing hard, and left without another word. Friday morning, I got a call from Kayla. Maddie disinvited Evan from the wedding, she said. But she's still not talking to you. I know. Dad, what are you going to do? Show up, I said, and let her decide. The wedding was Saturday at 2. I rented a suit and drove to the venue alone. Evan's truck was already there. Maddie had disinvited him, but he'd come anyway. I parked and walked inside. The barn was full of people I used to know. Friends, family, neighbors who'd seen the videos and read the posts and formed their opinions. I found a seat in the back. Lena saw me and her face went white. She whispered something to Evan, who stood up and walked toward me. You're not welcome here, he said. It's my daughter's wedding. I'm not leaving. Security will throw you out. There is no security, Evan. It's a barn. He stood there, fists clenched, and for a second I thought he'd do it. Throw the punch that would make him the villain in front of everyone. But he didn't. The music started. People stood. Maddie appeared at the back of the aisle, beautiful in her white dress, holding a bouquet. She looked at me. Then she looked at Evan. And she walked down the aisle alone. No father figure, just her. I sat down and watched my daughter get married, and when it was over, I left without saying goodbye. Final peak. Hard stop. I was halfway to my car when Evan caught up with me. This isn't over, he said. It is for me. You think you won? You didn't. You just made everyone hate you. I know. He grabbed my arm. I twisted free and walked toward his truck. What are you doing? I'd prepped the truck one last time. Earlier, while everyone was inside, I'd slipped a rag soaked in fish oil into the intake and rigged the blower to kick on when the engine started. I popped the hood with the spare key I'd copied months ago and pointed inside. See that? That's your dignity rotting in real time. He shoved me. I shoved back harder, and he stumbled on the church steps. His shoulder hit the metal rail with a hollow clang. Not injured, just humiliated. Maddie came running, still in her wedding dress. Stop it, both of you. I reached into my pocket and pulled out the ring box Evan had stolen from my house, the one with my grandmother's ring inside. He'd been planning to give it to Maddie as a family heirloom. I handed it to her. He took this from me, thought you should know. Her hands shook as she took it. And here's one more thing. I pulled out my phone and played a voice note Kayla had sent me. Evan's voice, drunk and angry. Maddie's just leverage. You think I care about her. I care about making Nate suffer. Maddie's face crumpled. Lena lunged for me, screaming something I didn't hear. She grabbed my arm. I pivoted and her heel snapped. She fell into a planter full of basil, mud splashing across her dress. I looked at the crowd that had gathered, phones out, recording everything. I'm not your example of grace, I said. I'm the consequence. Sirens wailed in the distance. Someone had called about a disturbance. Evan sat on the steps, wheezing, his truck reeking behind him. Lena lay in the mud, ruined. Maddie stood in her wedding dress, holding the ring box, staring at me. So now what? She whispered. I walked her to the church doors and stopped. Now you decide who gets to be standing when you look back on today. I didn't walk her down the aisle. I didn't need to. I'd already shown her the truth. I turned and walked away, the sirens getting closer, and I didn't look back.